April 30th, 2011, Washington, D.C., inside the cavernous, glittering ballroom of the Washington Hilton. The air is heavy with the scent of expensive perfume, roasted filet mignon, and the invisible, intoxicating electricity of raw political power. The room is packed shoulder to shoulder with the absolute zenith of the American elite. 4-star military generals with chests covered in ribbons sit next to billionaire media moguls. Hollywood celebrities in flawless designer gowns clink crystal champagne glasses with the most ruthless political operatives on the planet. The rhythmic hum of confident, wealthy conversation echoes across the massive hall. But at the center of this glittering universe, sitting completely motionless at a perfectly arranged table, is a man with unmistakable golden hair. Donald Trump. He is not smiling. He is not drinking. He is not engaging in the polite, superficial banter of the Washington establishment. He sits with a face carved from absolute, unforgiving granite. Up on the brilliantly lit stage, standing behind the presidential seal, the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, leans casually into the microphone. He exhales, flashes a razor-sharp, charismatic smile, and delivers a highly calculated joke designed to cut straight through bone and directly into the ego. The entire room erupts into deafening, synchronized laughter. The camera flashes explode in a blinding white storm. The elite of the world point their fingers, throw their heads back, and laugh directly into the face of the billionaire real estate tycoon. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated, televised public humiliation. It is a surgical, devastating strike on a man's pride, broadcast live to millions of people across the globe. And in that precise, agonizing moment, as the tidal wave of elite laughter washes over him, a dark, unstoppable chain reaction violently begins. The president, standing at the podium, genuinely believes he is finally destroying a loud, annoying political nuisance. He is completely, catastrophically wrong. He is actually, methodically, building his own absolute worst nightmare. How does this happen? How does a billionaire reality television star, a man with absolutely zero traditional political experience, zero military background, and zero government credentials, use a single night of brutal public humiliation to completely dismantle the political legacy of the most powerful man on earth? How does a meticulously crafted comedy routine, told in a ballroom full of journalists, violently mutate into the absolute greatest political earthquake of the 21st century? The President of the United States wields the most formidable intelligence apparatus, the largest military, and the most sophisticated political machinery in human history. Yet, he is ultimately undone by the psychological fallout of his own punchline. To truly understand this massive, paradigm-shifting explosion, we must travel back to the origins of the tension and look at the raw, unfiltered environment that shaped the target of that devastating laughter. Long before the red hats, the massive rallies, and the chaotic campaign trails, Donald Trump is a man born into significant wealth in Queens, New York. But despite his millions, he spends his entire adult life desperately, hungrily craving the one single thing his vast fortune cannot easily purchase: the genuine, unironic respect of the Manhattan cultural and political elite. He builds towering golden skyscrapers bearing his name in massive brass letters. He plasters his face on the covers of tabloids. He buys airlines, casinos, and beauty pageants. He becomes a ubiquitous billionaire celebrity. But the intellectual class, the political heavyweights, the old money aristocrats, they always look down their noses at him. They treat him like a loud, colorful, tasteless sideshow. He is a rating magnet, but he is never, ever considered a peer. Fast forward to the early years of the Obama administration. Trump, feeling the sting of endless dismissal, realizes he needs a new, more aggressive avenue for cultural dominance. He latches on to the fringe, highly controversial birther conspiracy theory, publicly and relentlessly questioning whether President Barack Obama was actually born in the United States and is therefore legally eligible to be the president. He does not just whisper it, he weaponizes it. He goes on every major television network morning show. He aggressively demands to see the long-form birth certificate. It is a relentless, exhausting, and highly publicized campaign of delegitimization against the first black president. And for a brief, terrifying moment in the political landscape, it actually seems to be working. The media cannot stop covering him. He forces the hand of the commander-in-chief. Just 3 days before this fateful White House Correspondents Dinner, President Obama is forced to step into the White House briefing room and officially release his long-form birth certificate to the public, just to silence the circus. Trump goes on television immediately, taking a massive, gloating victory lap. He genuinely believes he has cornered the president. He believes he has won the ultimate, high-stakes game of political chess. He walks into the Washington Hilton ballroom that night, expecting to be treated like a serious, formidable political heavyweight who just forced the president to bend the knee. He expects caution. He expects fear. He expects, finally, respect. Instead, he walks directly into a meticulously engineered, perfectly executed psychological trap. Let us break down the exact anatomy of this political assassination. Let us look at how the machinery of the Washington roast is weaponized to strip a man of his power. Step 1. The disarming setup. President Obama takes the stage and addresses the birther controversy head-on, but he does not do it with the defensive anger Trump expects. He does it with devastating, casual theatricality. He announces to the breathless room that he will finally show his official birth video, and then plays a dramatic clip from the Disney animated children's movie, The Lion King. The tension in the room instantly shatters. The audience roars with laughter. Trump is immediately disarmed, his entire political crusade reduced to a cartoon. Step 2. The surgical strike. Obama pivots his focus directly, laser-like, onto Trump's table. He does not attack Trump's wealth, his family, or his businesses. He attacks the one thing Trump values absolutely above all else: his absolute seriousness as a world leader. Obama mocks Trump's reality television show, The Celebrity Apprentice. With perfect comedic timing, the president jokes that Trump's greatest, most stressful leadership decisions involve deciding whether to fire actor Gary Busey or singer Meatloaf. It is a brilliant, calculated move designed to shrink Trump from a genuine political threat back into a trivial, dancing television host. Step 3. The carpet bombing. Obama confidently sits down, and professional late-night comedian Seth Meyers takes the microphone to finish the job. Meyers delivers a relentless, unsparing, rapid-fire barrage. He looks right into the camera and says Donald Trump has been saying he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising because everyone thought he was running as a joke. The cameras immediately, ruthlessly cut to Trump's table. Every single major news network in the country is broadcasting his real-time reaction. Think about this for a second. You are sitting at a small circular table, completely surrounded by the absolute zenith of global power. 3,000 pairs of eyes belonging to the people you have spent your entire life trying to impress are staring directly, mockingly, at you. The sitting president of the United States has just used the absolute, terrifying power of his office, not to formally debate you, not to argue with your policies, but to turn you into a national punchline. What does that level of public humiliation actually look like on the ground? It is not just a passing moment of social embarrassment. It is the hollow, suffocating, sinking feeling in the dead center of your chest. It is the burning, undeniable heat rising rapidly in your cheeks. It is the terrifying, crystal-clear realization that no matter how many billions of dollars you have sitting in the bank, no matter how many golden towers you build, these elite gatekeepers will never, ever accept you as one of their own. Other seasoned politicians in that room would instinctively smile for the cameras. Other wealthy businessmen would laugh it off to show they are good sports. Other Hollywood celebrities would politely clap and nod. But Donald Trump does not smile. He does not laugh. He does not clap. He stares straight ahead, his jaw locked shut, his eyes fixed in a dead, unblinking, furious glare. The machinery of the political roast worked perfectly to strip him of his immediate dignity, but it accidentally, catastrophically forged a permanent, unbreakable resolve in the fires of his humiliation. The political establishment has struck its decisive blow, fully expecting the loud, colorful nuisance to simply fade away into the background. They expect him to lick his wounds, retreat to his golden penthouse in the sky, and stick to hosting reality television. But the massive, overwhelming political machine is about to face a force of pure, spiteful momentum that it simply cannot calculate. 4 years later, Donald Trump walks down a golden escalator and officially decides to run for the highest office in the land. The establishment, the massive, entrenched enemy in this story, strikes back with absolutely everything it has in its formidable arsenal. Attempt 1. The media dismissal. The global, mainstream media apparatus entirely writes him off as a profound, embarrassing joke. They treat his campaign launch as a publicity stunt. They give him billions of dollars in free, unfiltered airtime, fully believing that the more he speaks, the more unhinged he will sound, and the faster he will completely destroy his own campaign. They treat his massive rallies as a traveling circus. But Trump, brilliantly, intuitively, circumvents this trap by using that exact same free airtime to bypass the journalists entirely. He speaks directly into the camera, aiming his message right at the forgotten, angry, working-class voters who also deeply despise the very same establishment that laughed at him. Attempt 2. The Republican blockade. The seasoned, wealthy, deeply entrenched Republican establishment tries to violently crush him in the primary elections. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars on vicious attack ads. They field 17 highly experienced, heavily funded governors and senators against him. The political machine tries to crush him with centuries of tradition, with endless corporate money, with strict debate rules. But Trump simply refuses to play by their rules. He uses brutal, simplified, highly sticky nicknames. He completely shatters the boundaries of political correctness. He dismantles their carefully manicured, decades-long political careers in mere seconds on a live debate stage. Attempt 3. The Clinton Machine. In the final, ultimate showdown, he faces the most heavily funded, deeply entrenched, meticulously organized political dynasty in modern American history. The entire political establishment, both left and right, throws its absolute entire weight behind defeating him. They use massive celebrity endorsements, unprecedented data mining operations, and the entire enduring legacy of the Obama administration. They expect a historic, crushing, landslide victory. They expect the ultimate, final vindication of that night at the Correspondents' Dinner. The media didn't silence him. The establishment didn't block him. The billion-dollar war chests didn't bankrupt him. The endless scandals didn't sink him. The situation reaches the absolute breaking peak of historical tension. It is the late evening of November 8, 2016, election night. The cultural and political elite of Washington and New York, the very same people who clapped, cheered, and laughed until their sides hurt in that Hilton ballroom 5 years earlier, are gathered in massive glass buildings and sprawling convention centers. The champagne is heavily iced. The confetti cannons are loaded. They expect the grand joke to finally, officially, end. But as the sun sets and the vote counts begin to heavily roll in from the Rust Belt, a cold, terrifying, paralyzing silence falls over the bustling newsrooms. The impenetrable blue firewall begins to violently collapse. State by crucial state, Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, the impossible, unthinkable mathematical reality sets in. The man they laughed at, the man they mocked, the man they tried to publicly destroy, is not just winning. He is actively tearing down the very foundational pillars of their political universe. The stakes have never been higher in modern history. The world holds its collective breath as the giant electoral map on every television screen in the world slowly, inevitably, bleeds deep red. If you are captivated by this dark journey into the shadows of modern history and want to uncover more stories of how single moments completely broke the world order, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It fuels our ability to dig much deeper and make more intensely researched videos exactly like this. Now, let us watch the final, devastating consequence unfold. Donald J. Trump stands on the steps of the Capitol building and is officially sworn in as the 45th President of the United States. He walks into the Oval Office, sits behind the massive oak Resolute desk, and begins his ultimate, methodical, deeply personal revenge. He does not just govern the country, he actively, intentionally, and ruthlessly seeks to erase the legacy of the man who humiliated him in front of the world. He immediately pulls the United States out of the historic Paris Climate Agreement. He completely dismantles the painstakingly negotiated Iran nuclear deal. He aggressively rolls back hundreds of carefully crafted environmental regulations. He appoints conservative judges at a record pace to permanently alter the courts. He spends 4 entire years violently trying to rip out the Affordable Care Act by its very roots. Every single signature achievement, every global treaty, every executive order of the Obama administration is aggressively, systematically targeted for absolute destruction. What is the ultimate, final fate of that fateful dinner in 2011? In a twist of profound, deeply dark, and almost Shakespearean historical irony, the greatest joke Obama ever told was a spectacular comedic success that resulted in a catastrophic, world-altering political failure. The elite laughed at a man's outsized ambition, but their laughter was the exact high-octane fuel required to ignite his unstoppable ascent. Barack Obama wanted to publicly, definitively demonstrate to the world that Donald Trump would never, ever be a true politician. Instead, by attempting to destroy his credibility, he inadvertently forced Trump to become the most disruptive, destructive political wrecking ball in modern American history. The room full of brilliant journalists and seasoned politicians genuinely thought they were burying a ridiculous reality television star under a mountain of clever, well-written punchlines. They had absolutely no idea they were actually writing the bloody prologue to their own devastating defeat. A terrifying,